Hey y'all, I'm Heather. I am a wife and a mother and an insurance agency owner, a friend, and a PTA advocate. I am so excited to talk about all of the things that I find most precious here within our community, within our lives, and within our faith, friendships, and relationships. Here on Heather's Most Precious. What is your favorite accomplishment in your tenure as the president of the Chattanooga Lookouts?
Oh, it's easy. It's easy for me. It's watching people that we've had the opportunity to bring on board and watching them grow as people and watching them grow as leaders. And, you know, we talk about it all the time. It's not what you do inside the walls of our baseball stadium or AT&T Field at this point. It's what you can do and then take out to our community. I'm a huge fan of Chattanooga. And to see what Andrew and Jennifer and Alex and Dan have done in our community is absolutely the easiest thing for me. That's the proudest thing I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
And there has to be an aspect of you enjoying what you do, right? And seeing the good, or else you would not want to be a part of it, right?
No, I work stupid hours during the summer. I mean, ridiculous hours during the summer. If it's not fun, you're going the wrong path. Mm-hmm. And you know what? There's a lot of people in Chattanooga. There's a lot of people in Tennessee. A lot of people in the United States that work because it's an ends to a mean. I mean, we have to eat. We have to feed our kids. We have to have shelter. We have to have electricity, that kind of stuff. And there's so many people out there that do that. And that's great if that's what you want to do. But I love the fact that I get to go to work every day and really be passionate about what's going on around me and what I get to do every day. You know, Heather, we're gonna have 250,000 people get to see what our hard work has done this year. And that's pretty amazing to me. It really is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Now, y'all listening are hearing from the president of the Chattanooga Lookouts, as we've already said, but I want to say it again because he's a big deal. This is Rich Mozingo. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for several years. Used to work with y'all to bring, when my oldest son Lakers team, they were little league. 4 and 5 years old. We used to get them on the field, stand with their favorite player, kind of run around. They were, making them feel like they're big deals, right? With
Absolutely.
little kids. And since our agency has been able to do some fun things, which still look forward to doing this year, and won a car on a used car Saturday.
That's amazing.
So
That's my favorite. That's
I'm
awesome.
telling you,
That's awesome.
Drop the Dippin' Dots because I was so excited. I was like, what? But it's been a joy to go to games. It's one of our favorite things to do, family fun, is to be able to attend a game. And it's not just because we love baseball, because I would say, even if you didn't love baseball, it's the experience that you're going to. And I think a lot of people are familiar with the name Chattanooga, or not Chattanooga, the Savannah Bananas, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But what they don't realize is that y'all are cultivating a similar experience, an experience where y'all are bringing in so many acts or special events, right? Or theme nights that would encourage people to be a part. What was the vision? Because y'all have changed so much throughout the years. What was the vision that led y'all to creating this experience?
Well, there's a lot of different things. And the fact is, we learn from other people in other industries. We learn from a lot of people in our own industry. But, baseball, if you had baseball in the 1950s and you showed up and opened the gates, people were coming in. People loved baseball. And the fact is, baseball as a sport has probably waned a little bit as far as people sitting down and wanting to consume baseball. But the fact is, attendance continues to go up in the minor leagues, and people want to be involved. And it's just what you're talking about. We have evolved ourselves into a 3-hour show. While it's not going to be dancing second baseman and that sort of stuff, but you are going to see the superstars out there. You're going to see the balancing act out there. You're going to see the greatest fireworks shows in Chattanooga 13, 14 times this year. We're going to entertain you on so many different levels. And, there is going to be great baseball out there too. So we're kind of serving different communities with what we do on any given night.
Absolutely. Now, do you see a lot? I know you've seen the Superstars, which are my personal favorite.
Me and you both.
And
I love
then
'em.
Dino Guy.
Amazing.
Phenomenal.
Wasn't that amazing?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Y'all, he had these dinosaur like puppets, right? But they look real, and they he acts with him and talks to him, and he let my youngest son hold them and put his hand in. It was so sweet. But he was so knowledgeable. And then they had dinosaur like setups all around the
Massive
stadium.
setups out front. Massive setups out front. It was crazy.
And a lot of them, I guess, electronically, kind of robotically, were able to move. And terrifying when they're the huge ones. But when they're the little cute baby, Parasaurolophus, it was so cute. But loved that. How do y'all find some of these acts?
Well, and like I said, it's us stealing from other people, stealing from other teams throughout the United States. And a lot of these people, they knock on our doors. And he was one of the guys that knocked on our door and said, man, we would love to be a part of what you're doing here. We would love to come out and entertain and those sorts of things. So, it's nice when they find us, but a lot of times, and it's kind of our world these days, Heather. Go on the internet. You can find anything on the internet. And you search baseball promotions, and there's a million things that come up. And what's nice is like the dinosaur one. I think that's such a great example of us kind of being on the front end of that. Now, we weren't the first team to do it, but we're kind of one of the first teams to do it. And it's something that Chattanooga hasn't seen, to the best of my knowledge, anywhere. So that was super fun, and that was a home run. That one worked like crazy for us, and people loved it. We have had others that maybe didn't go over as well and weren't, but we're going to continue to try. We're going to continue to put out acts out there, or put out entertainment things that we think will be fun, that we think will bring people to the ballpark.
And I think that's what it is. When you're able to personalize something, being able to say, that's something I would enjoy or my family would enjoy, then it does make it more of a chance of being something that will be beneficial for everybody.
No,
right?
100%. 100%. What's interesting is on the flip side of that, things, and I learned this many, many years ago. When we moved to AT&T Field in 2000, I was the general manager of the team at that point. And we had to really stock up on our gift shop. We knew the crowds were going to be much larger and that kind of stuff. And I went to a trade show and saw a lot of things that I thought would be great with the Eyes logo on them that we could sell and people would love them. There were those things in the gift shop for probably 8 or 9 years later, because I had terrible taste in things that would go on in the gift shop. So I have really, really talented people around us. And the fact is, I'm good at selling hot dogs and tickets, and those guys are really good at promoting and making fun things go on. So I leave most of that up to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, part of creating this incredible atmosphere is the fact that 90% of your team, whether it's the valet, whether it's the ushers, whether it's my favorite programming lady, or, it seems like the players are the only pieces that really do change out regularly. But your team, I mean, how do you cultivate a team and that has this one-minded goal and are so friendly and encouraging and really set the table for this experience, right? It's going to be great because of the engagement of everybody. How have you been able to cultivate that?
Well, and it doesn't happen overnight. And it's something that we talk about literally every single week in our building, about how much we're working for each other. We're working for Chattanooga. We're working for this one goal. And the goal, I promise, the goal is not to draw 1 billion people in the ballpark. The goal is not to make $10 billion. The goal is to entertain people when they come to our ballpark, to be friendly and to be helpful and to be worthy for people to spend their money on these days. And that's what we really talk about a lot is, how are we going to make it so the Chattanooga Lookouts is a place they feel comfortable coming and spending whatever money they choose to spend doing that. But it goes through everything we do. It's not just at baseball games. We had a hiring fair a couple weeks ago, and we talked about it a lot before it ever started. Our enthusiasm is going to pass on to the people that are coming in through the gates to apply for jobs with us, and we do it every time we do something. The week of caring, the giving back, random act of kindness week. Wow, tough to get that one out. But we participate in that every year in a big way. We send our people under the streets and to do different projects throughout our community. But we have to send them out with that enthusiasm and that excitement. And once it starts building, it's an easy process to continue to move forward.
Absolutely. Now, most of the people, is it just that everyone's kind of encouraging each other because they are having the time of their lives while they're still working this job? Or is there certain training that y'all implement to encourage the the way that you want them to brand the Lookouts?
Well, once again, we talk about it all the time, but we also talk about with our kind of our senior management. And the best way to lead is lead through example. And if I'm not going to be excited and I'm not going to bring the energy, that's not going to happen. If Andrew and Jennifer don't bring the excitement, it's not going to happen. We'll get behind closed doors and we'll have tough conversations and we'll have uncomfortable conversations. But we talk about it all the time. When you walk back through that door, your head better be up and you better be excited about what's going on. And I don't say that in a threatening way, but we're all on the same team. We all understand that, if you're going to mope around the office, if you're going to mope around the field, or you're going to mope around whatever we've got going on, that's going to get out to your staff as well. And they're going to follow your lead on that. So we really try to lead from the front and we try to be excited from the front. And that really makes it all possible for everybody.
Absolutely. Now, if there is someone listening today that owns a small business or maybe manages a team, outside of definitely, right, it flows from the head down, which we know, what advice or encouragement would you give when they are selecting people to be a part of their team, or when they are training them and they're maybe not seeing the result that they want?
Well, I think communication's the key. I think you got to let people know what you're looking for and what results you are looking for. I think when you start talking about selecting employees, I think relatively quickly who's going to work with you and who's not going to work with you, and who's going to be on your team and not be on your team. And when I say be on your team, I mean that's going to bring the same values that you bring to the table. But I think when we hire, we really hire way more, in fact, almost solely on attitude and then we do aptitude. I can teach people to do what we do. I can teach people to sell a hot dog or sell a ticket or sell a t-shirt or whatever that may be. But the attitude is what we really try to bring to the table. And when we hire, it doesn't start and stop with one person in our office. You're going to see multiple people. And if there's a red flag anywhere, we'll all sit down and discuss that red flag and figure out, is this just a blip on the radar? Or is this something that is going to be a problem for us in the long term? So it's a matter of just gathering more information, communicating, and really trying to, like I said, lead by example.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I hope that is super helpful for those who may be in a season where they are trying to cultivate a team that they can be not only proud of, but that can carry out the brand well and that can carry out your vision. Because at the end of the day, right, you want people to have your back the way that you have theirs too.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me your history with the Lookouts. How long have you been affiliated with them?
So I came to the Chattanooga Lookouts November 1st of 1993. So 1994, that's exactly how old I am. Now you just do the quick math. So I was here for 9 years and then I left for 9 years.
Okay.
I became part of an ownership group of a team in Columbia, South Carolina. We moved that team to Greenville, South Carolina. And then I moved on. I was in Lakewood, New Jersey for 5 years. I got the opportunity to come back in 2011. So this will be my 13th season back in Chattanooga. So I guess 22 years in Chattanooga so far, and just kind of everything from group sales to general manager to president of the team.
Did you ever think, like when you set out in your career in baseball in this industry, did you ever anticipate that this is where it would lead you?
When you say this, do you mean Chattanooga, Tennessee, or do you mean as a president and leader of a baseball team?
As a president and leader of a baseball team.
Absolutely. My first year, I got a job in Port Charlotte, Florida. I was 25 years old, and I was working in the oldest county per capita in the United States of America as a single 25-year-old, and had a blast. It was so wonderful, and it was the team that was there and the people that were around me. And when that season was ending, I was in an internship. I made $800 a month in my internship, and I wrote down some things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to run a baseball organization. I wanted to be part of an owner of a baseball organization, and I wrote it down and worked over the next 10 years to make that happen. And I was very, very fortunate to get in with the right people who had the opportunities to move me to different places and do those sorts of things. But absolutely, I saw myself being here, and it's been more rewarding than I thought it was going to be. It's amazing to have the opportunities that I have, but no, this was a goal.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that, because so many people, it seems like don't have this, where they've written it down and it has manifested through hard work, through a lot of resilience and patience on your behalf. But so often it seems like people are surprised at where they ended up. I am one of those. I never dreamed I would be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But I love that. Now, what were some of the steps that you intentionally took? I know you mentioned part of it was being able to network and meet certain people that allowed you to have these opportunities or propel you in a different direction. What are some of the intentional steps that you took?
The scariest one. Now, once again, to get to the position I am today, I was in Chattanooga in 1993. 1994 was my first season. I've moved my family 5 different times. Picked up, moving van to the house. I moved my family to New Jersey for 5 years. I mean, because that was part of the steps that needed to happen and part of my growing and learning and all that sorts of things. But it was willingness to do the things that I needed to do to continue to grow inside an organization. There was nothing that was too big or too small for me to try or to do. And we talk about it to this day. I don't ask anybody on my staff to do anything that I haven't done or I'm not willing to do. And that's always going to be that way. And I think once you start doing that, and once you prove yourself as a leader and the ability to lead and guide people, whether they be younger or older, towards a common goal, I think at that point the opportunities became much easier to go my direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going next? Do you see being with the Lookouts long term?
I sure hope so. I love Chattanooga. I love Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm a big fan of Chattanooga, and I think there's an opportunity here. We're really working hard to get a new facility. Major League Baseball is kind of demanded that we get to a facility that's more up to date with the things that they need for their players. So we're really working hard on that. And I think if that comes to fruition, I think this is a place where I could absolutely see myself for a long period of time. And like I said, I love Chattanooga. I love the things that I get to do in Chattanooga. I love to be a part of the Goodwill Board. I love to be a part of the Boy Scouts Board, and the chance to give back to my community in these ways. I've had a couple of opportunities in my life to go to work for Major League Baseball franchises. And at that point, you become a really small fish in a really big pond. And whether it's an ego thing or the opportunity to give back or do those sorts of things, I love being, in the position that I'm in a smaller organization where we can really be nimble and drive ourselves to do different things inside and outside of our 4 walls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we love having you here.
Well, I appreciate it.
There's you and Andrew. There's so many people. Alex. I mean, I think you have, even in leadership positions, such an incredible team that do make the experience, but you do lead well.
Well, thank you.
You are out there working alongside with them, not just in the box, with your finger pointing at them, like, do this and do that.
No.
Or you put on a good show, which we appreciate too. But I love that. And I love that you're always willing to hear if there's something that y'all can do better. There is an accessibility. It wasn't a huge deal, but I know that a family was able to come to you, and within a week, y'all had made the change and chose to do that. And I love that y'all are, you truly are not just here for Chattanooga, but here for the fans and here to make them love what is happening and feel a part. You don't just come to watch a game. You feel like you're a part of this community, which is a big deal.
It is. And when you come through the gates, it is a community. You've chosen to come there. I tell people all the time, no one has to come to a Lookouts game. I mean, sometimes you got to go to the hospital. Every day you have to go to work. There are things that you have to do in life. Lookouts baseball is not one of them. So what can we do to make people want to be a part of that and want to come in and see our people and that sort of thing? And you said it a minute ago. Wanda, who's sold programs for us since literally 1983. If Wanda goes away, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, she hugs about 2 out of every 3 people that walk through that gate because they all know her and they feel like they're part of her family. She is so amazing out there. She worked at Erlanger for years and years and years and years and did the same thing there. Greeted people as they came in and helped people move the right direction. And, and the amount of people I'll go to speak to a Rotary Club in North Georgia, and I'll give just a marvelous 20-minute speech. It'd be fantastic. People on the edge of their seats, and it's I'm telling you, 1 out of every 2 times the first question that goes up is Wanda going to be back this year? Is Wanda the program lady going to be back? Because it's not about the baseball, and it's not necessarily about the superstars, and it's not necessarily about the fireworks. It's about our community and our community coming together 70 nights throughout the course of a summer, and it's very, very special to be able to be part of that.
I love that people love Wanda as much as
I do. No. You're not on your own.
Don't tell me I'm not the only one, man. But yeah, she, once again, every single person there, whether they're selling a hot dog or whether they're handing you a program, taking you to your seat, or they're actually holding the bat. Yeah. Everyone makes you feel like you're wanted and valued. And
that's wonderful.
I'm going to say it again. I feel like I say this in every part of every episode, is that as humans, we all want to feel seen and known and loved and valued, and you get that. So if y'all haven't gone, I would encourage you, if you live in Chattanooga, go. There's some of the least expensive family fun that you can have. And if you're part of an organization, a school, y'all give away students who improve. There's certificates that come. But I would encourage you, be a part of this. You don't want to miss it. It's so much fun. And on the other side of that, if you're not from Chattanooga, come here. Not only do we have cool things like the aquarium and the zoo and the Creative Discovery Museum and CFC, we have so many fun spots to go to, hang out, that will not cost a ton. But then you can come and experience the fun that we are speaking about today.
Well, it's interesting. The medium we're on today and the podcast, and the fact that everyone in the world can listen to this, and that's amazing. I'm with you. Let's come to Chattanooga, man. It's a wonderful, wonderful weekend, long weekend in Chattanooga. There's so much to do. It's a great outdoor city, and it's a great music city. It's a great food city. It's a great sports city. There's so many fun things to do in Chattanooga. Yeah,
and y'all are hearing
it. Come see us.
It's a fun everything city. We do everything well. We're kind of a big deal. I love that. Now, we know where you are as far as leading the Lookouts and leading well. I know you would not always say that, but you are, and the team that you've cultivated here. Tell us about the players. What does that process look like to building the roster?
We have nothing to do with it at all. Zero. Okay. So we have an affiliation with Major League Baseball. In Major League Baseball, we have a AA affiliation with Major League Baseball. Baseball assigns us a major league team. Right now it's the Cincinnati Reds, and the Cincinnati Reds go out and they find 28 guys that they think can play together and play well in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But to your point the other day, earlier in this podcast, we talked about my staff stays the same, and my staff's there year after year after year. Last year on our team, we had 58 guys that played for the Chattanooga Lookouts, which means some come up from single A and play for a little bit and maybe go back down, or some come up and then skip up and go to triple A or whatever it may be. So our roster is always changing. And these guys are here for one reason and one reason only. It's to develop the skills to play with the Cincinnati Reds. That's all they want to do. Last year, the minimum salary for the Cincinnati Reds for Major League Baseball, I think it was $750,000 for the year. So if you're a Chattanooga Lookout, they get housed, they get fed very well, all that kind of stuff, but they don't make a ton of money. If you play 4 games in the major leagues, you make way more money than you do if you play an entire season for the Chattanooga Lookouts. So that's what those guys want to do. And the fact is, these guys are competitors. They want to win. And sometimes you'll see major league guys and you'll think, man, he doesn't care if he wins or loses. You don't get to the level they get to if you don't care about winning and losing. They really, really want to win. And sometimes the deck stacked against them is not going to happen. But our guys are wildly talented athletes that want to come to Chattanooga. They want to win. They want to be as good as they can so they can get out of here, because they want to be in AAA or they want to be in the major leagues. And it's fun to watch those kids because they're babies. They're babies. They're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old as they're coming through here. And it's really neat to see them grow and learn on the field here and then have the opportunity to play in Cincinnati. We sent 9 guys last year from Chattanooga directly to the Cincinnati Reds, which is amazing. Just amazing.
And to be part of their journey. So I know you said they are housed and fed, all of that. Is it like some other teams where they have host families? No.
No. The Cincinnati Reds come to town before the season starts. They rent apartments for all these guys, fully furnished apartments. Wow. And then when they get to town, they just go drop. If they laugh all the time. They say the only thing you have to bring to town is your own toothbrush. Because cups, forks, knives, everything's in your apartment. You're ready to go. They feed them 3 times a day in our clubhouse.
Wow.
So 2 hot meals and a sandwich in between. So they can eat all their meals there. They're fully fed there. And then when they go on the road, they feed them 2 times a day and they put them up in hotels. So it is all on their own, and they just make the best of it.
That's great.
It's
That's
amazing.
Great.
Well, what used to happen, Heather, is you would come to Chattanooga, you'd be assigned to the Chattanooga Lookouts, you'd get here in April, you'd go out and you'd sign a six-month lease somewhere. And then 3 weeks later, you're sent up to AAA. You still got a 6-month lease in Chattanooga. Right. You got to find someone to go live in that house and pay you rent for it. Hopefully that happens, or you're out of luck. You got a problem on your hands at that point. So what Major League Baseball has demanded of all their affiliates is to make sure they're putting these guys up in places where they can get to the ballpark and really focus on doing everything they can to be better baseball players and make it up to the major leagues.
I love that they are giving them the opportunity and taking care of them while they're doing it, because it would cost for them to be able to build their skill, develop that, right? It would cost lessons and coaching. And so they're given all of that plus the room and board, which is a big deal.
The amount of people who have left the game over the last 30 years because they literally just couldn't fiscally do it. They did not have enough money to do what they needed to do is way too many. So they've taken that barrier away, and I think that's wonderful.
It is, and it's neat to know that an organization that does make billions of dollars, right, is looking at the little dog and saying, hey, I still want to invest, because so often they could be looked over. And so that's great that they've seen, okay, here's an area that we need to tweak a little bit, and that they're doing it. So
well, they've done it. Major League Baseball has done a really, really good job over the last 4 or 5 or 6 years. Really, one of the things that was an issue for years in Major League Baseball and minor league baseball as well was the length of games. Games just became so long. When I first got into baseball, an average AA baseball game was 2 hours and 29 minutes. In 2017, 2018, it was like 3 hours and 12 minutes. You're talking about almost 45 more minutes. And it's too long. So Major League Baseball stepped in. They started the pitch clock, and they've really shortened the length of games. And they've really done things to make more action happen on the field. We talked earlier about people aren't necessarily coming to watch baseball, but you still want a good product on the field. And I think Major League Baseball has done a great job of making that happen as the years have gone by.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. And neat to know that you're a part of an organization like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So much bigger. It's nice to feel like we're a part of an organization way bigger than what we would be able to do on our own, and that you have them behind you supporting you.
Very much
I think
so.
That's great.
Very much so.
What are some of the ways that you feel like the team, whether the roster we know or not, the opportunity here in Chattanooga is different than maybe some other AA teams or leagues? Well,
and once again, we talk about it starting at the top, and the top's above me, and it's the ownership group that has part of this, and what they give you the opportunity to do as managers, as directors, as developers of talent. We are given an unbelievable amount of latitude to help people continue to grow in their own career. So we are wildly focused on, I don't necessarily need you to be a Chattanooga Lookout employee for the next 25 years, but I really demand that you're going to be a better employee when you leave here. And that doesn't mean that you're going to work 1 billion hours or whatever, but that you're a better listener, and you're a better problem solver, and you're a better leader when you leave here. And that's the most important thing to us. And hopefully by doing that, what we're doing is making people want to be here more and want to be part of our organization more. I want our managers and directors, I want them to run their own little businesses inside our business. I want Kansas and Isabella to run our gift shop, and that be their deal, and Sydney and Heel to run our ticket office, and that be their deal. And all together, it works, and it makes all of us stronger. But I need them to really want to own and run their own business inside our business.
That's great, because collectively, right, you are able to do everything.
Absolutely.
Then. So everyone has their piece of the pie. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What, with your coaching staff, is there anything that separates your coaching staff from others, or that you're just really excited that, some of the skills that they bring to the table?
I think it's, once again, it's management is probably the hardest thing that we do in our society, and management's the hardest thing we do in our society. The best example of management is parenting.
Yes.
It's you're your kid's manager is what you are, and once you understand that not every child learns the same way, and not every child functions the same way, and not every child grows the same way, if you can take those ideals and move them onto the baseball field, it's really the same thing. So our manager, our pitching coach, our hitting coach, they do a great job of looking at guys and finding them where they are and bringing them along the way they can, in the way they see it. They spend an awful lot of time learning about the people and not the pitcher, learning about the people and not the hitter. And I think that really, really helps our kids understand that they're not just another number out there, that they're a real person that we're trying to make better and stronger and be a better baseball player as they go forward, and a better person. I think it all works in together.
Absolutely, because that's the beautiful thing about coaching and leadership. You get to shape the character. It's
absolutely.
not just about how fast you can swing the bat or how hard you can throw the pitch. It's about making them good members of society and making them better than when they came. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. The mission of the organization as a whole is very clear. As I punch my microphone, take that. As a whole, it is very clear. It's clear to see, and it makes it even more exciting as a fan and sponsor to be a part of that, to feel like you're a part. Are there ways that if people in the community, I know we don't do host families, but if people in the community wanted to help with the players or wanted to get to know them or wanted to offer, is there a way for them to do that?
It's more and more difficult these days. And with that being said, there always is. Our guys are really, really good about visiting with people. As we have a clubhouse is in the outfield. So every one of our players has to walk by fans every single night. And they're really good before games and after games, stopping and visiting. And the amount of stories that I have from our fans that have really connected with our players is amazing. But that's the best way, is go stand in front of them. Go say hi. Go say congratulations, great game, or good luck tonight, or whatever it may be. These are 21, 22, 23-year-old guys, man. They're in a town that they've never been in their entire life, and they know no one except the 25 guys that get on the bus with them.
Right.
So they love to have the opportunity to visit with different people and to learn and to meet other people and those sorts of things. So I think there's really a lot of opportunities for you to get out and just visit with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what about we're talking about the experience, we're talking about the players, how we can help for teams that have community teams that have little leagues and they want to bring their team to be a part, have an experience. What would you tell them? What are the steps in order to do that? Who would they need to connect with?
Just make a phone call. Call us.
Okay.
Call us. Anyone who's going to pick up the phone is going to help you. We're going to get you in the right direction. But, we've got a group sales department that does exactly what you're talking about all day, every single day. So when you call up, you're going to get Shane or Caden or Jara or Mark, and they're going to walk you through the steps of exactly what you need to do. And we will get your kids in the ballpark. We will get them on the field with our players. We'll get them out there with the national anthem. If you want to give them all a hot dog and a Coke, if you want to have a picnic, we can do all of those things. One of the things that we talk about all the time, especially our business is really driven on groups. That's, if we can get little league teams out or we can get big companies to come out, that's where our business is driven. We hope we're going to get you as a family to come out every now and again, but the big business you can really count on, once you sell them a night and what they're going to do out there, that's fantastic. But for you as a business, as a team mom, as a church leader, as a Sunday school leader, as a department leader at whatever company you're in, the thing that we do the best is make it as easy as we possibly can for you. If you pick up the phone and you call us and you find Jera on the other end, once you say, hey, June 19th is my date, he's going to handle the rest of it. He's going to feed you guys. He's going to get tickets in your hand. He's going to make it as easy as he possibly can. And then no one's got to make banana pudding to come to the game, and no one's got to clean up afterwards. And there doesn't have to be a committee to do this, that, or the other. Everyone just shows up and has a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And the same for someone who wants to maybe play an instrument or sing during the national anthem, or maybe there's a school choir that wants to perform. Is that the same? You would just call, or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know, I got an email today, and you'll appreciate this because you and I think are very much the same in this way. I got an email today from one of my clients said, we have this event coming up and there's some things I want to discuss with you. And I'd much rather just pick up the phone and have a conversation rather than email back and forth.
Absolutely.
And that's my favorite.
Yes.
That's my favorite because we can work out anything. There are very few hurdles that they're gonna trip us up. And it's, pick up the phone and call us. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll reach out and we'll make it as painless as we possibly can. But the open lines of communication are always the key. But ask us. I had a friend of mine from years ago reach out, and her daughter's coming back into town in May, and she said she would love to sing the national anthem. So we're working on that right this minute. I think that's going to happen for her. Just an opportunity to once again be part of her community again.
Yes, and I love how for Chattanooga you are. And if you would tell anybody that you would take one thing off their plate, whether it's not making the, God forbid, another pan of banana pudding and have to bring the spoons and the forks and the napkins, but that you're going to do it. If you are, sometimes in these leadership roles, it's exhausting. I know most of you would agree. And so to know that y'all are going to do it, and all it takes is one phone call. It's not you have to email 14 people and hope someone responds.
No.
You know that whoever answers on the end of that phone, because they're a part of this team that y'all have cultivated, they're going to be kind and friendly. And if they can't help you directly, they're going to immediately connect you with who can.
Absolutely.
And that makes you want to, right? Even more partner.
I hope so, yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Good.
So you heard them. If you have any groups that want to come, you have a radio station, you have a kids group, you have anybody that wants to come and get tickets, what would you consider group ticket numbers to be? A minimum of how
25.
many?
25 is our number. Once you get to 25.
Okay.
But listen, I mean, if you have a Sunday school class, it's 13
So
people.
easy.
Now we got spouses. Now we're at 26. You got kids. Now we're at 42.
Yeah.
25 is a piece of cake.
Absolutely.
But 25 is our number.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you need someone else to come, you can always call me. I'll join your group. That is awesome. Now, we have talked about your position as the president of this organization, but we have not really kind of pulled off that hat to talk about who you are.
Yeah.
Who is Rich?
I think he's evolving. I think he's continuing to evolve. But I've been married for 29 years to Tracy. She's the absolute rock of our family, and she keeps us all together, moving in the right direction. I got 2 boys, Lucas and Alex. Alex just graduated college last year, and now they've both moved away from home. And it's, empty nester. There's wonderful, wonderful things about being an empty nester, except you're an empty nester.
Right.
And your babies are gone. So, I love to get together with those guys. And Lucas lives in Costa Rica. Alex lives in Charlotte. But we're always just moving and evolving, and to be a part of their lives and what they're doing outside is fascinating, and to see them grow and learn and give back to their communities is amazing to me. But Tracy and I love to go visit and see and do and listen to live music, and I love to play disc golf, and we love to take walks and hikes and that sort of thing. So I think I'm a relatively normal guy. I just have this really weird job that takes up an unbelievable amount of my summer, but it's still a wonderful place to be.
Absolutely. And your wife is precious.
She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing.
She is.
Yeah.
That's 29 years.
29.
That's amazing.
One more to go. That's it.
Okay.
I said it. It was literally, we've been married, I think, 6 years. And I met one of her work friends, and Tracy's been in the school system forever. And I met one of her work friends, and she says, well, how long have you been married? And I said, we've been married 6 years, only 4 more to go. And this lady was mortified that I said it out loud. And so that's, Tracy and I joke about it all the time. But that lady, I will see her, literally, she'll come to the baseball game this summer, and she will say, how many years left? How many more you got? I just think it's very funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I love your sense of humor. What is maybe one of your favorite memories in the 29 years that y'all have been blissfully wedded?
Oh, as far as me and Tracy?
Yeah.
Gosh, you know what? And it's we spent a ton of time on our kids' athletic fields. And I know there's parents out there that are going to listen to this and they're going to think, I can't believe I have to go to basketball and cheerleading this weekend and all that sort of thing. Some of our very, very best friends in the world we've made with our children and playing lacrosse and traveling with those guys and traveling with those families. I think without even thinking hard, it was the amount of time that we got to spend, because it was always family time. You know, our kids were there and we were there and other families were there and families that were like-minded and doing the same things that we were doing. I would think it would be, especially our years, both of our boys played college lacrosse, and to get them to participate at that high a level. And I'll say this because I think it's wildly important. My kids both played 4 years of college lacrosse, and I asked my kids the same thing after every single lacrosse game. Did you have fun? Because, you know, I've had the opportunity every day to go in and see 25 of the most talented baseball players you'll ever see in your life. If they're playing for the Lookouts, they're talking about them at their high school today because they were that good. But when you lose the joy for the game, it all goes away. And if you have a child out there who you think's excelling and you think's going to be this, that, or the other, make sure they're enjoying their game. Make sure they're having fun doing what they're doing, because if they don't, it'll all stop.
It will. Yeah. And that's so important. And I think as a parent, sometimes it is easy to get caught up in the skill set of your child or in the excitement you feel because you assume that their feelings don't change, that if they're good at it, then they must love what they're doing. Right. And so I think that's a huge reality check for some of us parents that still have kids during that season and in those evolving sports, that we need to be mindful that we are doing the pulse checks and that we're not just getting excited about the future that we anticipate for them, but that they also anticipate for themselves. What is outside of that pulse check with your child, making sure that they are still happy, still enjoying what they're so good at? What are some other ways that you could encourage parents to kind of maybe just for themselves make sure that we're not thinking that they're going to be drafted during this little league game?
No, I think it's imperative, and I don't know what the good advice is, but let me tell you what I do know. If your kid is unbelievably great, I mean unbelievably great at the age of 12, by 14 he's probably going to be worse, and by 16 he's probably going to be worse, and the people around him are going to get better. And every now and again, you're going to have a kid that is just special. And I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I had 4 number 1 draft picks on the Chattanooga Lookouts at one point. Wow. 4 on the exact same team. One guy ever played a game in the major leagues. And these were the best of the best of the best. I mean, they were so good and so talented their entire lives growing up. In college baseball, in the NCAA today, there are 11.3 baseball scholarships for every team. 11.3. There are 35 kids on the rosters at big time schools. And there's 11 scholarships. There's 11.8 college lacrosse scholarships at teams that have it. The chance of your kid going to school for free as a baseball player is almost non-existent. It's not going to happen. Be prepared for that reality to set in. And the fact is, even if your kid is absolutely that good, if he's not having fun, he ain't going to college to play baseball. It's just not going to happen. So it's just understand it, grounded by reality, grounded by the facts. You know, the fact is, it is unbelievably difficult to make money playing a sport in the United States of America. Unbelievably difficult. And the kids that do are the kids that spend an unbelievable amount of hours. And, you know, I'm a huge proponent of, if your kid's a great baseball player, let's see what kind of basketball player he's going to be. Yeah. Let's see what kind of soccer player he's going to be. Let's see what kind of football player he's going to be, because well-rounded athletes are typically better athletes going forward. I mean, almost every single time.
Yeah, so let's putting our eggs all in one basket.
Yeah, right? Let's not just make little soccer robots out there or little baseball robots out there. Let them try other sports and have fun. That's really the key.
That's awesome. And what you said too, I want to kind of hone in on what we are not saying to our listeners today is that you can't encourage your child and that your kid will never make it. But what we are saying is be realistic. And being realistic doesn't mean you have to be like, Laker, you're never going to make it. You need to stop trying. No, that means supporting them, but also putting the focus on this is a family event that we get to do together. This is fun for us. We do make these, and you're right. You make the closest friends when you're there watching your kids do what they love to do.
Absolutely.
And, Oakley was always the little ball field baby. And so they would all be playing on the playground or whatever. We got to sit in quiet silence and watch the game, actually, or scream our heads off. Some of us, I don't know who would do that. But it's so neat to remember and be reminded of the humility.
Oh, yeah.
That it would be great if that happened, but that should never be our goal, especially when our kids are so young.
No, absolutely.
And I will tell you, it's easy when you're cheering, when you're at that event or game. It is so easy to get ahead of yourself because you're watching your kid kill it.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, Laker, he's 14 now. I'm in 8th grade. He had an unassisted triple play in like rec ball.
No way.
Okay. He was, I take that back. So it was in All-Stars. It was a summer league, unassisted triple play. And it was the coolest thing to see. And even the ump was like, I do college and I've never seen that. And it's so exciting and joyful. But there, and my kid he plays lots of different sports, and you're right, being well-rounded and he does love it. And baseball will still always be his favorite. Basketball is close second. But I think when we take the fun out of it, that also takes the fun out for the kids.
Oh, I agree.
Right.
One of my favorite stories, my son was playing high school football, and part of the deal at the school was one day they had the band come out and play the national anthem live. He played trumpet in the band, so he was there in his football uniform, playing trumpet for the national anthem for the game he was getting ready to play. So it doesn't even just have to be sports.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's music, it's art, it's drama, it's all those sorts of things. Please, 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 let's be well-rounded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And encourage, because you're right. There doesn't have to be one avenue. Who said that there can't be a pro athlete that also is an amazing artist? Or how many actors or actresses do you know that are also great on a field or on a court or wherever?
Absolutely.
And so I think that's beautiful. And I think on another note, it's okay that our children are different. I know my boys are very, very different. One is much more musical and theatrical, and I know you couldn't even guess at this point, but and the other is much more athletically driven. But they're both incredibly smart. My husband and I always look at our kids and we're like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no kidding.
From this, like it's amazing, right?
Same.
And but just a challenge to, as hard as it is to parent, and as much as you don't know, right? With the oldest, it's hard because you've never parented that age before, so you're just kind of running in it blindly, and that brings challenges. And so I know that it often looks like you just are a better parent with the second. No, you know what to anticipate. You know what's normal. You don't overreact as often. Speaking to myself, because you're speaking all of us. You're speaking all of us. Get it?
Yeah.
But I know sometimes when they don't look alike, because typically one always looks easier. One is always easier, especially if you see a lot of a parent and one or the other. So it's easier to see the side of one over the other too. But just the challenge that there is enough love to love them equally and the same and different. It's okay that it looks different. It is okay that it looks different. You're right. And I think that in our minds, sometimes we get so caught up in the fact that it should look the same. Yeah. But it can't. If they are different, it can't look the same.
No, you're 100% right.
That's beautiful, right? Yeah. It's beautiful to know that you can have a different relationship with both. And for those who have a lot of children, like, God bless you, because I don't know how you do it, but I know that love just continues to expand. Yeah. So,
but what's the hardest thing? It's still it's management. It's parenting.
It is.
Parenting is the hardest job in the world.
It is.
Parenting is the hardest job in the world
because it
is heart-wrenching. It is heart-wrenching, and it is overwhelmingly fulfilling, and it is it's just all those things.
It is.
It's all those things.
And you see the best and the worst parts of you all in the same moment.
Oh
right?
Yeah. No, you absolutely do.
Oh, but what an honor to be a part. Golly. But to be a part of not only their lives and not only shaping who they are meant to be and getting to be on the journey, right?
Oh, yeah.
And not missing the joy of the journey, which is the hard But out of the hard produces most of the growth. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely it does. It absolutely does. It's fascinating too. I got a 28 and 23-year-old right now. 28, 27, 27, 23. And they will tell me once, twice, three times a year. He said, man, I absolutely got this from you, Dad. I learned this from you, whether good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
And I promise, we've taught them bad things and we have taught them really good things, but it's, they're learning every minute. They're learning every minute. As 23-year-olds and 27-year-olds, they're learning every minute. So, there's nothing more rewarding than parenting. There's nothing more frustrating than parenting either, but there's nothing more rewarding.
All at the same time.
Yep.
Tell me, you are an empty nester, and that had to have been a transition for both you and Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what was something that you learned throughout that season and maybe has made it easier?
We have learned as we have gone. So we were, our kids went away to college. So we were kind of empty we were empty nesters. We were empty nesters at that point. So, you start learning and what you're doing and that kind of stuff. And it was about 3 or 4 years ago, Tracy looked at me, and it was the end of the summer, and the baseball, my baseball season's crazy. Every other weekend I'm on. And so she looked at me at the end of the summer. She said, I'll never do that again. I said, what are we talking about? She said, we did nothing all summer. We didn't have anything planned. We did nothing. We sat around the house, and I'm not going to do that again. I said, if you put it on the calendar, it happens 100% of the time. It happens. Yeah. And the next 11 straight weeks, we went somewhere or did something, and we've learned 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 20 weeks of doing nothing is not okay.
Right.
11 straight weeks of doing something is not okay. So we've learned balance. We've learned balance. When our kids finally did move away in a permanent way this past year, we needed to fill that gap. So we got a puppy.
Oh.
Once again, not I love a dog. I love Tilly to death. Maybe not the right way to fill the gaps. We also bought a little fixer-upper house. It's just,
wow.
I mean, it's just,
you did everything at once.
So once again, it's kind of the same. 11 straight weeks of doing something, that's probably too much. Getting a puppy, probably too much in and of itself. Getting a house, so
let's do it all at one time.
And once again, you learn and you balance. And it's whether you're 25 years old, 45 years old, 55 years old, you're still going to live and learn as you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's always such a joy to talk with you. And I enjoy you so much, just even on the friendship level. I've learned so much from you, and I am always excited that no matter when we talk or how we communicate, there's always a smile on my face because of a way that you have encouraged me or challenged me, or made me think of maybe a different perspective. I do want to know, though, in closing, what do you find most precious?
Gosh, I think it's just family. I think it's, especially now that family's not under my feet and they're not eating everything in my refrigerator, and the times that I get to spend together with my family, and whether Tracy is my family, and the time I get to spend with her is magical, and the time I get to spend with either one of my boys. But if you get a time to spend all four of us together, whether it's a day or a weekend or whatever it is, it's just magical. And that's it for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And you have proven that through every season there can be beauty and there can be joy, even if it's hard.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a transition, and that you do learn. And there will be more joy that comes in this new season.
Yes.
And in you and Tracy being with now a new baby and, and a new home and all of the joys.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's one more thing I would love to know. We have a big stadium. I'm including myself and a part of this team.
Our Lookouts.
A new stadium coming. What do you hope that this new location for the Lookouts, what do you hope that this brings to Chattanooga?
A bigger microphone, a bigger gathering spot, a bigger opportunity for us to all get together and be part of community. I mean, we hopefully by being on the south side and being in a place where there's going to be apartments on the site, and there's going to be hotels on the site, and there's going to be businesses on the sites and restaurants on the sites. I want us to be a part of really a new gathering space for all of Chattanooga. We're going to have great opportunities down there to do so many cool things. And I just want to make sure that all of us are cognizant, whether it's us, the Chattanooga Lookouts, or the landowners, or the city and county, are all cognizant of this opportunity we have in front of us to really change this, the face of a community that hasn't been there for a long time, and to really revitalize a community that's looking for revitalization. I think it's wildly exciting, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Good.
You with great anticipation wait for things that are in the works, but you haven't seen yet. And so I think this is such a great opportunity, and I'm excited that it's our team that gets to be a part of this.
It's going to be fun.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Well, Rich, thank you again.
Oh, what a pleasure. I so enjoyed it. It was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll do it again
Let's
soon.
do.
And I hope for those who have listened today that you have found joy. Maybe you have found a change in perspective of something that you thought. And I do hope that as you journey through this week, that you choose to be kind, that you choose to be grateful, and that you choose to encourage. And we'll see you back next week on another episode of Heather's Most Precious. Bye, y'all.
Heather's Most Precious is brought to you with love by the Hendrickson Agency, an insurance agency serving all of Georgia and Tennessee. The Hendrickson Agency, properly protecting your most precious possessions. Support for Heather's Most Precious is provided by Study.com, which offers SAT and ACT study materials and even has resources for AP and college credit courses. Listeners of Heather's Most Precious get 30% off their first 3 months of any subscription level with offer code PRECIOUS. Just go to Study.com and use offer code PRECIOUS at checkout. Heather's Most Precious is produced by Chattanooga Podcast Studios and is part of the Podnooga Network. Find out more at ChattanoogaPodcastStudios.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back soon with another episode of Heather's Most Precious.